What's up, guys? I am right back here ready to talk about Sorry to Bother You in more detail. This is the first episode of Pack's Perspective of the Week, the weekly segment where I take a film that I've enjoyed and just talk about it, spoilers and all, and just talk about it in more details and just talk about more of the things and the details that I liked. As a disclaimer, obviously I just said this is a spoiler, your spoiler warning, and go see Sorry to Bother You. I cannot stress this enough. This film demands attention. It had a lower budget, and you can tell in some of the effects at the end that it has a lower budget, but that's okay because it does everything it can so well. If you haven't seen the movie, it's definitely flying under the radars of a lot of people. See the movie if you haven't. I have a whole review on why you should see the movie, completely spoiler free. I'm going to leave a link in the description for that review. So if you have seen Sorry to Bother You, or if you just don't give a crap about spoilers, stick around, let's talk about it. Lakeith Stanfield, first of all, I can't talk enough about this dude. He just gives such an amazing performance. Every scene he's in, you completely feel for the guy. He's the most relatable character. Because in a lot of ways, he has a everyman type persona. He has things that you just see him and you're like, I can relate to that. I can relate to how you're struggling to pay your rent, how you're struggling to see the world through your eyes where other people are just looking at you as a weirdo who doesn't know what's going on. But you're just thinking bigger picture. You're thinking you got the CEO boss mentality, and that's why he rises through the ranks so well, man. I can't wait to see this guy get nominated and hopefully win Best Actor for the Oscars next year. Such a great performance. But overall, I wanted to mostly talk about this movie's themes. It has a lot of surrealist techniques. This movie is definitely one of the most irreverent movies I've seen in a while, but it definitely uses its irreverence as a tactic to draw out its themes. One of the biggest themes I've seen in this movie is, of course, the white voice and feeling like, as a black man, feeling like you sometimes have to perform in front of white people. You have to perform, like dance, puppet dance. There's a scene in this movie where Cassius is just surrounded. He's at a CEO's party, and he's just talking, and the CEO of the company, he says, you know what, you're from Oakland, right? You're from South Oakland. I think you can rap. You can definitely rap, right? And he's like, no, I've never had to rap. I've never had to do this and that. And he just looks at him, he just looks at him as a black guy and he's like, you know what? No, I think you can rap. And they make him rap. And when he raps, he at first he starts off trying to be himself. He still tries to be himself. Like, my name is Cash. I don't know. And he starts off really awkward with his rap, and then people are just looking at him. And then when he starts just rapping the N-word over and over again, the crowd's like, yeah, Cassius. So I'm just like, wow, this is something, for one, but this is definitely how it can feel. I'm so glad this movie is using political satire to draw out these very relevant social themes of sometimes you feel like you can't be yourself. When you're caught between two worlds, and W.E.B. Du Bois definitely talked about this a lot, as far as the conflict that a black man feels. When you're caught between black culture and white culture, and you feel like both are a part of your identity, that can create an identity crisis, because when you're with your black friends and you start to show some aspects of white culture, they're like, oh, you white, aren't you? But when you're with white people, a lot of your white friends, they can feel like, oh, wait. Sometimes it can feel like, oh, wait, you're just a typical black dude. You're just a stereotype. And this movie, especially with that scene I just talked about, this movie definitely drew that in. Now, let's talk about the white voice for a second. The idea that just because you can speak in complete sentences and you say whole words, that's your white voice, that's your professionalism. Obviously, slang and stuff, it has its times, it has its environment. But when you're customer service rep, or you're trying to be professional, you have to use your white voice, and that's how it is. That's how it actually is in the workforce. This movie, I'm so glad this movie displayed this in such a way. It displays it by having each character's white voice not be their own. Cassius, Lakeith Stanfield, his white voice is actually David Cross's voice. And the first couple times I heard it, I just laughed out loud. It was just too funny. David Cross voices Cassius's white voice, and everyone in the movie gets a different white everyone in the movie gets a white voice portrayed and voiced by a different actor, an actually white actor. And this was just such a good decision to make on an artistic level, because it says, oh, despite me saying the right things, this voice is not my own in a lot of ways. It's me trying to clean up my act. It's me trying to be something different, something beyond what I am. The white voice was just, oh man, that was just such a theme. As far as the themes of like slave labor and like exploiting the workforce, as far as the company that he's working for producing, basically serving their workers under sweatshop-like conditions, I felt that was a bit on the nose, but they did it it was a bit on the nose how they executed it, but at the same time I was glad that they had these themes in there, because it just shows this movie as a whole, this movie has a lot on its mind. But as far as the third act, this is when the movie flips the script. The third act basically has the CEO, again, spoilers, if you've stuck to this part of the video, why haven't you seen this movie? The third act of the movie has the CEO bring Cassius in his office. Cassius has to pee, and then he goes to the bathroom, and what does he find? He finds a horse dude, a crossbreed between a horse and a man with actual male anatomy, and it's not pretty, because the dude's hurting. He's just yelling out. He's like, help me, dude, help me. And look, he doesn't know what to do. Cassius doesn't know what to do, and he goes back. He goes back to the boss's office. He's like, what the heck was that? And the boss rationally tries to explain how the future of the workforce, how the future of the American workforce is cross-species, is by splicing human DNA with animal DNA, creating these behemoth monsters and just making them work more efficiently. So corporate greed is definitely another theme that's just way out there and that they're trying to touch on. And he's like, what's with this? And the boss tries to rationally explain, although it's a hilarious scene. I gotta give a shout out to Armie Hammer and Lakeith, just acting chops wise, great scene. But he actually rationally tries to explain slave labor, and that just goes to the themes of corporate greed and how even if, despite Cassius being promoted to a power caller, I believe the boss's name was Steve, the CEO's name was Steve, he still has power over him as a white man in a position of power. He still tells, despite elevating him to the position of power caller, he still tells Cassius to sit down. He still has a gun. A white man holding a gun to a black man's face. I don't have to explain that. That speaks for itself. So he still has, despite Cassius rising through the ranks, he's still in a position of bondage to this white guy. And it was like, wow, this movie, these are the type of themes and the type of parallels I see with this movie. And I say, this is the most important film, the most socially provocative film and important film since Get Out. There's so much other stuff in this movie, defining stereotypes, retaining your individuality as a black man but still trying to be professional, the white voice, it's all in here. That's just some of the great, but I can't, when I do these videos, I'll mostly talk about the themes and personal significance, but with other more big budget blockbusters with less on its mind socially and philosophically, I'll definitely talk more just about the spoilers and the plots and all. But this was just a quick video, well, not quick, it's about the length of my actual review for the film. This was just a video explaining some of the things I noticed and just what I liked about the movie on these other levels besides actual quality art and film. So, if you liked it, if you like this video, please like it, share, comment, subscribe. I am Pac. Thanks so much for hearing my perspective, and I'm out for now.